So the first principle is intuitions come first, strategic reasoning second. So there's a long idea in Western philosophy that the mind is divided. This is one of the great truths. My previous book was called The Happiness Hypothesis. It's about 10 great ideas that you find around the world. So the idea that the mind is divided into parts, which sometimes conflict, every civilization has noticed that. In the West, the way the parts have traditionally been put together, and you see this in Plato most clearly, is that the soul is divided into parts like a charioteer, reason, trying to control the two horses of the passions, the noble passions and the baser passions. And if a man studies philosophy and can strengthen the charioteer, can strengthen reason, he can get a grip on these horses. You need the horses to pull the chariot, but they're kind of dumb, and the charioteer has to provide all the guidance. And if a man can strengthen his mind, study philosophy, control those horses, then after he dies, his soul will go, he'll escape the bondage of reincarnation on this degraded world, and it will go back with the gods whence the soul came. If he fails to control his passions, he will be reborn as a woman. So that's what the Greeks, so that's the way the Greeks thought about passion and reason. And that's the dominant view in philosophy, but there are occasionally counter voices. And David Hume is my favorite philosopher. He was a counter voice to this worship of rationalism. One of his most famous quotes from the treatise on human nature is, "Reason is and ought only to be the slave of the passions and can pretend to no other office than to serve and obey them." So Hume said that the passions, the sentiments, these things come first, and they drive reasoning forward. Reason is a servant. We send reason out to find evidence for the conclusion we want, bring it back, and then we're done. As a psychologist, I've come to believe that Hume got it exactly right and Plato got it exactly wrong. I'll read a short section from the book, which I hope makes this clear. This is a section from chapter 4 titled "Reasoning and Google Can Take You Wherever You Want to Go." When my son Max was 3 years old, I discovered that he was allergic to must. When I would tell him that he must get dressed so that we can go to school, and he loved to go to school, but if I said you must get dressed, he'd say, I don't want to. He'd whine, he'd be difficult. The word must is a little verbal handcuff. If you tell someone they must do something, they want to pull free. The word can is so much nicer. Can you get dressed so that we can go to school? To be certain that these two words really had these opposite effects, one day I tried a little experiment. After dinner one night, I said, in a very even voice, just, "Max, you must eat ice cream now." And he said, "I don't want to." And then right away, I said, "Max, you can have ice cream if you want." "I want some." Okay, now this works with a 3-year-old. I've had friends say they tried it with a 5-year-old. They're too smart, but a 3-year-old, it works. The difference between can and must is the key to understanding all the weird things people believe, all the weird, terrible ways we use reasoning. And I get this idea from the psychologist Tom Gilovich at Cornell, who studies the mechanisms of strange belief. He studied why do people believe in UFOs and quack medical treatments. Why are these so hard to eradicate? And his simple formulation is that when we want to believe something, we ask ourselves, can I believe it? Can I believe it? Do I have permission to believe it? What that means is we use our reasoning to go out and search for evidence. Suppose I want to believe that Obama was born in a foreign country, that it was the birth certificate. I'm a Republican. I don't like Obama. I want to believe that there's a conspiracy going on. Can I believe it? All I need to do is type it into Google, and I'll get hundreds of millions of pages providing me evidence and preparing me for the rebuttals. Oh yeah, sure, they show that thing they show his birth certificate on the internet, but a doctor in Indonesia has testified. I'm just making this up, but it's there. I guarantee you somewhere you'll find stuff like that. So the internet is a great enabler of can I believe it? You can believe anything. Just Google it. You'll find evidence. Conversely, if you don't want to believe it, you say, must I believe it? And then you search for an escape hatch, a key to open the handcuffs. Must I believe that the entitlement state is going to bankrupt us? Well, you find some economists who say no, and according to my projections, if we raise taxes on the rich, So as long as there's ambiguity, we're able to find the can or the must. We're able to find the evidence that will get us to where we want to go.